won't you give me a call? We'll ride on those waves again. California sun. And I can wait through a storm, 'cause without you it wouldn't be the same. Last night I was dreaming out loud. California sun was making my eyes dry. Can we still make it happen? It's worth a try. Oh, and I might keep on dreaming out loud. It's a beautiful life, staying under blue skies. And next year in the winter, let's give it a try. I'll keep on dreaming out loud tonight. Yeah, I'll be dreaming out loud tonight. I'll keep on dreaming out loud tonight.
If you're worried about your income or your future, you're concentrating on the wrong end of the scale. Look at the other end. Concern yourself only with increasing your service, with becoming great where you are, and your income and your future will take care of themselves.
A great day is when you close your first deal, right? When you get that check or you get that wire in from the title company or closing attorney, and it's real, it's tangible. The proof is there. Faith to fact. You cross that bridge and it is a great day. A greater day is when you build that consistency and you fire your boss. That is a greater day. That's when you go full time into this business and things really start taking off. But you know what the greatest day is? The greatest day is when you fire yourself from your own business because it runs better without you. That is what we're talking about. And that is the progression that we take if we stay focused. If we stay focused and we build an actual company that goes out and finds the best discounted properties in the marketplace. Welcome to Wholesaling Inc. Live, where we know that finding discounted properties is the most proven path to financial freedom. I'm your host, Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, and I'm telling you, if I can do it, anybody can do it. You can do it. I'm joined by the incredible Rafael Cortez and Mike Mahoney, and we're here for 4 reasons. Number 1, to give you the tools and tactics to be able to implement into your business right away, right now. Number 2, to answer whatever questions or challenges that you're dealing with in your business. Number 3, so that in the comments section, you can treat this like a networking event and connect with people that are out there doing amazing business, right? They're really being proactive. They're going to pull you forward. They're going to pull your productivity and your business forward and make those 3 steps happen faster. And number 4 is to celebrate your successes, whether they be big, whether they be small. It doesn't matter. It all adds up. All right? Those are the 4 reasons we're here. So let's jump right into today's show, which is the 18 different ways to make money in real estate. All right? Take a look at this, guys. There's 18 ways, and there's probably a few more, but most of them fall into these 18 ways. All right? I was recently at an event that I was speaking at, and I told everybody to just yell out different ways that they've made money in real estate, right? You've got wholesaling, fix and flip, rental properties, Airbnbs, doing wraps, doing the BRRRR strategy, sub 2, novation, seller finance deals, wholesaling, listing. That's if you have a license, but if you don't, you can refer those listings off to an agent. You can't really earn income from that if you're not licensed yourself, but we won't get into the weeds there. Lease option, lease purchase, buying notes, buying options, house hacking, group homes, and subtailing. Isn't that so exciting? There's so many ways that we can make money in real estate. Except for the 3 Ds. Doubt, disappointment, and what I want to talk about today is distraction. Because you don't have doubt. I mean, maybe you have some doubt, but that's why you're here, right? You surround yourself with people that are doing this. You know that if you talk to enough people, you're going to find great opportunities and you're going to really build a strong business. So let's get rid of doubt. Disappointment, are you kidding me? You're a 4,000-pound charging rhinoceros with 2-inch thick skin. Nothing stops you. Send spears, send torpedoes, send anything at us. It doesn't stop us. Disappointment, get out of here. Doubt, disappointment. That's not what causes 95% of people to not be able to completely change their financial future in this business. You know what does? Distraction. Distraction does. Because you hear people doing a lease option deal. You hear people doing a sub-2 deal. You hear people doing a seller finance deal. You hear people doing all of these creative strategies all the time. And all of a sudden, you're trying to learn these things. And education shouldn't lead to knowledge. Education should lead to action. But the problem is we get stuck in the education loop because it's something called creative avoidance. Creative avoidance. We don't want to just go out there and be consistent with one strategy because we can learn more, and learning makes us feel better. And even if we're not financially, being uplifted, our mind, our knowledge is being uplifted. We could go into any conversation and be able to hold our own with all these different strategies. Let me explain something to you. Let me explain to you the 5% that make it to the 7-figure business that runs without them. They're the dumbest in the industry. What I mean by dumb is it's not that they're unintelligent. It's that they're super focused and they know I don't have to know all of these strategies. I don't need to know all of these things. All I have to do is go find a distressed property owner that is ready to sell their property now. So look at all those different strategies. Look at all the building your rental portfolios that has been pushed since the dawn of time. That's what a real estate investor is. It's somebody that buys and owns real estate. Okay. But for $200 in passive income a month, for $1,000 in passive income a month, well, Brent, some Airbnbs make $15,000 a month. That's bullshit. No, they don't. They don't. I mean, if you really pull back the layers on all the costs that are involved there, it's not. They don't. Don't get fooled. Pull back the curtain a little bit. Look at the exact costs of what's going on. Not only that, but you can make $150,000 a month if you focus on finding ugly houses and getting big checks. So my encouragement to you, if you want to get to that 5%, and by the way, I want you to own Airbnbs. I want you to own rental properties. I want you to be able to do lease options, lease purchase, buy notes, do all of these incredible things, house hack, all of those things, right? But build your machine first. Build the machine and then hire people that know how to put those deals together. How about that? That's what I do. That's how I get passive income from my real estate business, $40,000 to $60,000 a month. I work in it 3 to 5 hours a week because I built the machine first. And this isn't a humble brag type of situation. This is just, I understand there's a lot of critique about wholesaling and building a wholesaling business, and it's selling the dream and the illusion that you can be financially free. You can't if you're not focused. You can't if you're trying to do every single strategy all the time. Now, should you add different tools to your toolbox? Absolutely. We'll talk about it on this show all the time. We talk about it on this channel all the time. But in the beginning, do your first wholesale deal. Get consistent and replace your income before you buy any rental properties, before you get into any of these strategies, before you get sunk down with the anchor of owning real estate and working with tenants and fixing these things up. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. But why don't you build the foundation first? Build the marketing engine of your business first. Get out of your 9 to 5 first. Fire your boss first. Because it takes a long time to get passive income from real estate. And there's a lot of extra costs that you might not be familiar with. There's a lot of different things that go wrong with properties. There's a lot of things that you have fixed up. There's a reason 80 to 90% of the deals that you're going to do in real estate are from tired landlords. Think about that. So just stay focused. Doubt gone, right? Disappointment gone. Distraction gone. Now, without the 3Ds trying to be a parachute, holding you back from sprinting as fast as you can, you wonderful, powerful, charging rhinoceros, now you can just go. Now you can just find incredible deals. Oh, boy, there it is. Thank you, Matt. Boom, perfect timing. We got a charging rhino. But that's what it is, guys, and that's what I want to encourage you to do. It's a quick little training this morning, but listen, all of those strategies are incredible. All of those things are incredible, but go into every single conference that are going to teach you all these different techniques. I honestly think that if you learn the 3 techniques that we're using, and it's just at 4, I'll tell you 4 techniques that we're using in wholesaling everything is just a traditional cash offer, which is a traditional wholesale deal that we assign it. We're locking up sub-2 deals because we find good opportunities there, and there's a lot of buyers for that. We do creative finance deals because those are great, and people want to buy those, and Novation. And Novations in the smaller markets are absolutely crushing. Absolutely crushing. So those are the 4, but when you're starting out, just stay focused on wholesale. Cash as is offers. Build up your bank account, and then build up your different tools in your toolbox. And I'm telling you, this is the right path. This is the most proven path, is going out there, finding discounted properties, and then adding to your toolbox later, or adding people in your company that already have those tools in their toolbox. And there are thousands of them. And you can hire incredible talent if you can afford it. And you can afford it when you go out and you find ugly houses and get big checks. So let's find an unbelievable deal today. I love you guys. Absolutely incredible. Raph?
I mean, right on point. There's so many different ways to skin the cat, right, when it comes to real estate investments. But at the end, but at the end of the day, you have to stay focused on this one simple thing, which is monetizing. You got to monetize at the beginning, otherwise you have no traction. There's no fuel for the machine to even start building up. So, yeah.
So what are the 5 steps again, Brent? So first deal, 2.
Yep.
Passive income. What are the 3? So the 5 steps. What are they again?
So number 1, do your first deal.
Yep.
Proof of concept, faith to fact. You got to cross that bridge, or there's going to be uncertainty, and you're not going to have as much confidence in the process. Number 2 is build consistency. Consistency is boring. Consistency is doing the boring things over and over and over and over again, but getting incredible results. Okay? Really getting down to then you can fire your boss. All right? Next, you're getting to the process where you start firing yourself for different parts of the business. All right? That's when you can get to the 4th part where you start looking for other opportunities, other assets to buy. And the 5th part, obviously, is that beautiful 2 words that we all love. And every time we hear it, it triggers something in our brain that goes bananas. And that is passive income, baby. That's what we're talking about. And you can get incredible passive income from your business, but buying those assets and getting it from owning real estate at that point is what the big ballers do. You know what I'm saying? That's what the big rhinos do. So just stay focused on it, guys. Stay absolutely laser focused on finding ugly houses, big checks as you're growing your real estate business, or you will sink into the quicksand of all the different techniques that are pulling you down to make $200, $300, $400, $500 a month in passive income. You could go way faster.
So first deal, get consistent, fire your boss, fire yourself, buy assets, cash flow.
That's it.
Got it.
Awesome.
Consistency is really the one that breaks everything apart. I mean, that's when you stay on it. It's incredible, but how the compounding of the actions, the compounding of the leads, the compounding of the conversations, the knowledge that you start getting every single time you talk to a seller. It's like deposits, right? Like the daily deposits that we need to have in place. Like that's really what makes the magic work, I think.
You look so cool today.
He looks cute.
I know,
You
right?
look so
Look how
cool.
cute he looks.
I'm even
You
standing
are looking cool today,
in
bro.
a very cool way.
I
Look at
love
me.
it. Guys, let's open this up. I want to celebrate. I want to answer questions. I want to know from that 18. Let's pull it up one more time, Matt. Matt's going to run back into the production booth there. We're going to pull up this 18. Let me know if I missed any here. Okay, there's probably some in there that kind of fit into that. A lot of the techniques that you might be thinking of fit into that rental, right? But this is 18 different ways. You could do a lot of these. All I'm saying, the argument that I'm making is talk to 1,000 property owners. Go out there and take massive imperfect action. Go out there and get big, massive checks, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000. Replace your income, fire your boss, and build a machine. Build a machine. All right, we're going, guys. Here we go. Alejandro says we have something. Teresa, Brent, just got a deal in, squatted up with a wholesaler who needed help with dispo. We found a buyer, and he's depositing earnest money today, 21 day to close. Teresa, I am so happy for you. I know you've been working so hard out there. I want to know, don't leave us hanging, Teresa. You're being real quiet about what you're going to be making on this thing. So let me know. Either way, you get a bell ring. Here we go. Ha! Awesome. Congratulations. Absolutely incredible. You are powerful. Keep it going. Guys, squat up. Listen, you can't do this without friends. Can't do it without friends. Find people, because you're going to have conversations with family and friends out there and loved ones, and they're going to have no idea what wholesaling real estate is.
What?
You can't do that. What do you mean you could flip a house without owning it? And then they start. Hey, what's that thing you were doing again? Was it something with real estate? What was it? Whole something? What is it? Yeah, can you tell me about that? Alex, question: how to skip trace a house when the owner passed away? But I looked up to the tax assessor, and she still shows as the owner. I asked the neighbors. She said she passed away 2 years ago. Oh, that is fantastic. All right, Alex, there's a couple different things here. What I would do is I would go to AmericanTracers.com. I would see it's like $1 or $2. I would pull every single number that's there, and oftentimes they have relatives there. If not, I want you to go into Fiverr or into Upwork.com, Fiverr.com or Upwork.com, and find somebody, a VA, that has access to a TLO account. And they have this crazy tool where, and oftentimes like VAs get access because attorneys use it or private detectives use it, or this usually or insurance people, people that are like debt collectors use it, and it shows like in a circle the name, and then it has all these like bubbles and info on all the relatives, and then you could click on that and they can send you the info. So I would go to somebody on Fiverr, find somebody that has a TLO account and say, hey, listen, I need all the numbers, all the relatives to this person, and then just start hand dialing them. I would just put them in. I would just hand dial them and call them. Woo! That's the way to do it. I got headbutt right here. That's not a zit. I got headbutt by my son last night. He's a savage. He's an absolute savage. I keep looking at it. I don't know. They're like, Brent, you fix your hair too much during the show, so I stopped doing that. Now I'm just looking at the spot between my eyes. All right, Smokey, Brent, is there a new fix and flip chart? Is that the first part? Yep. All right, what's the second part? Brent, how do I know if it's the right market starting out looking for my first deal? Well, Smokey, everywhere is the first market. I'd love if you give me more information on what market you're in. I would say listen, the toughest markets are going to be Seattle, Phoenix, San Diego, San Francisco, LA, Miami, Austin, Chicago, and any of the major cities in New York. But beyond that, it's pretty fair. I mean, it's fair play. You know what I mean? Not saying that you can't get deals. We have incredible rhinos in the rhino tribe that are doing incredible business in all of those markets, but they're trained. I mean, they're really, 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 really trained. So if you're not super trained in it, I would pick a market that has a median sale price of around 300. And at least 500,000 population. What do you think, Raph? You're the numbers guy.
Yeah, on the population we go 250,000, at least 250. It'll give you some room to get absentee owners and that sort of thing. And they tend to be markets that are not crazy high price, like for example New York, right, where everything's $1 million.
Go where the cash buyers are.
Dimitri's gotten insanely good deals in Miami. Yeah, Dimitri, you're also like a super real estate investor. I mean, you are just next level. Guys, if you guys aren't following Dimitri from Belgium doing deals in Florida, by the way, he's moving to the States, I believe.
Oh, yeah?
He's tired of, he's tired of that.
Waffles.
He's tired of Belgian waffles. No, he's tired of Europe, and he's going to come here to this incredible country, and we are going to embrace him with open arms. Can't wait for that. Toughest markets are the best markets. Yeah, listen, they're bigger deals. You just don't. You do less of them. Okay, bigger deals, but you do less of them. But I'm telling you guys, this market right now is just a perfect storm. There's a perfect storm. New home builders are kind of on pause. The inventories we're seeing in our market here in Phoenix and around the country are starting to dwindle down. Interest rates are kind of stabilizing. We'll see how it goes this year. But, listen, it doesn't matter what happens with inflation or interest rates or markets or whatever else. It matters on what you do. This will work if you do, 100%. Remember, our job is to find sellers, distressed sellers that are on Hell Island, and we got to get them over to Heaven Island. And there's a ton of bridges between that, and we have to see what is the best bridge for their situation. And oftentimes, this is why I say ugly houses, big checks. Oftentimes when it's an ugly house or an ugly situation, that's where we find the best opportunities. Okay, and the best opportunity is a cash as is offer, and that's the bridge that gets them from Hell Island to Heaven Island, as opposed to listing the property or doing creative finance or doing a sub-2 or something like that, or just sitting there and not doing anything. That's an option as well. So we have to go and destroy all those bridges to see if a cash as is offer is the best thing for the property owner. That's that's where people don't really get it, that don't understand what we do, is there is a fraction, small fraction, 6 to 10% of the market that a cash as is offer is the best solution for them. It's our job to find them, and more importantly, it's our job to disqualify the people that aren't in that situation, because there's other bridges that they can take to get to Heaven Island. Teresa, it's nothing major, 1K, okay. Had 3 offers, full ask, 82K, 70K, and 30K. Of course, the seller took full ask. If he took 70K, would have made 5K. This one is tight, but learned so much. Great. Mm-hmm. Great. If you do a deal and you make $1, that's proof.
Proof of concept.
You know what I mean? You make $500, you make $1,000, you make $4,000. First deal I did was $4,500, and I did it as a commission, right? As a licensed real estate agent, I took a commission on it, and I didn't even know what wholesaling was. And then build up, and then, average $38,000 now in Phoenix.
Teresa, you're winning. I made $1,200 on my first flip.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A lot more work.
On a flip, a lot more work.
A lot more
After
work.
6 months of doing stuff I didn't know how to do. Yeah.
So, Ashley.
Proof of concept.
Brent, can you show us a photo of what y'all consider an ugly house and why? Do we have any, Matt? I mean, Ashley, here's the thing. I mean, I don't think it's rocket science here. Does it need renovation? Is it in original condition? Does it need updating? The uglier houses are the ones that are hoarder houses, the ones that look like junkyards, the ones that everything's either overgrown or dead, depending on where in the country you live. Here, everything dies if you don't give it water.
Yeah.
But the most of the country east of the Mississippi, everything overgrows. It's like a jungle. Right? So don't overthink this. If you go into a house and you're like, wow, this is bad, that's a sweet spot. There's really 3 layers. Do you want to let's do this, Matt? Let's pull up
it should
the 3 layers.
Stand out like a sore thumb in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't overthink it, Ashley.
You're looking for boarded up windows, overgrown grass, missing tiles on the roof, that sort of thing. So
yeah,
they stick out. They stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, take the neighborhood, find the sore thumbs.
Yeah.
Yep. Bryce, I'm having analysis paralysis, I assume, deciding what markets to spend my dollars to skip trace. Big absentee lists. How should I decide? I would pick, Bryce, listen, again, don't overthink this. I would pick 3 different markets. I would pull 300 addresses from each of those markets, and I would call them. You can pull them right there, ttpdata.com, ttpdata.com. You can pull them right there. You can get all of the absentee owner lists. You can do all of that. You can pull it, and I would pull lists of 300, skip trace them so that you don't need a huge budget. So that's like 12 to 14 cents. Let's say it's 14 cents for 300. It's like that's $14. Yeah, for less than $100, you're pulling those, right? Doing quick math in my brain, and then just call them up, and then see where you're having the better conversations, and then start. You got some ugly houses? Yeah. All right, let's throw some ugly houses on here. Boom, ugly house, perfect. That's great. Deferred maintenance on it, kind of things sitting out, overgrown. What else you got?
Look at that big stain on the driveway.
Perfect. There you go. Boarded up house, needs some love, right? The plants are attacking it.
Yeah.
Right? Beautiful, perfect. Right there. Like, guys, it should stand out. These should stand out. And by the way, matching these properties up with investors that are going to invest in those communities is wildly rewarding. Because then all of a sudden, like, there's pride in the neighborhood, and it just takes one house, and then two houses, then three houses. Then all of a sudden, there's a historic neighborhood here called Coronado Historic Neighborhood that literally for years and years and years were run by a gang called the 16th Street Gang, right? It wasn't even on 16th Street. It was on 7th Street. I don't even know how that became a name. But it got cleared out, and then investment came in. And investment was kind of already going in there. And then all of a sudden now it went from like $50 a square foot in this historic neighborhood to like $300, $400 a square foot in that neighborhood. It happens within a few years. It's bananas. One of the first properties I did was with Randy. And he inherited it from his grandpa. All of his sisters were super pissed. The will wasn't exactly perfect. So I had to go out and get 4 of his sisters that were super mad that he inherited the property because his grandpa was like super machismo, like the men in the family inherit the real estate type of thing. It was this whole deal. I had to sit there. They were in a trailer park. They all smoked the longest cigarettes I've ever seen. I mean, these were I don't know where you buy a cigarette this long. I don't even know the physics of how these cigarettes stood up so long. But they were all puffing these cigarettes. I had to go there, convince them that, we're going to go through the probate process. He's definitely going to get this property. There was just a weird signature that we had to fix. It's going to take us 3 months to do it, but if you sign this, I'll give you $1,000 each at closing. They signed.
That'll buy a lot
we
of
got
cigarettes.
it done. It was in Coronado. I got that deal for $65,000. I sold that. That was the first $42,000 deal that made me shake in my kitchen when I got that. When that hit the account, because I had not much in the account before that, and that hit my account, and you look at your account, and it's $42,000 heavier than it was a minute before, an hour before, a day before, a week before, and I was like, oh my gosh, my brain broke. My brain broke, and I realized I can do big, massive deals. It was in that neighborhood. Randy, 65 sold it for $42,000 more, and now that property is worth $600,000.
Yeah,
and I got it for 65.
Dude, $1,000 will buy a lot of cigarettes.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. Walter, guys, when we tell the sellers we buy cash, what do we mean by that? Thanks. It's a cash as is offer. It means that there's not going to be a bank loan, Walter. It means that there's not going to be an appraisal on the property. It means that there's not going to be a long lending process where you have to get qualified for a loan. It means that you're just coming in with cash and making it as smooth as possible, which typically, if you're getting a loan, it takes time to coordinate the appraiser, to get the appraisal back, for it to go to underwriting, for them to approve the loan, for them to do a final underwriting check to make sure that you didn't go out and do anything stupid with your credit beforehand, like buy a car or furniture or whatever else that would lower your credit score. And so there's not a lot of these hurdles that you have to get over to make sure that the deal is going to go through. Plus, that usually takes about 30 days in process, and cash you could close in a couple days if you have the right title company. But most of the time, it's like 7 to 10 days. And so people that want speed and convenience want that cash offer. That's the difference, Walter. Springtime. Hi, Brent. Curious if you'd be open to sharing if you had $400,000 cash, how much could you make in 2023, and how would you do it? Okay. Yeah. I certainly have more than that. Hey-o. But I like keeping my cash. My cash goes, I invest in the company, obviously. So from a standpoint, that most of that goes to marketing expense and people. So you want to make sure that I would have 2 to 3 unbelievable callers from Call Motivated Sellers. Call Motivated Sellers is the Rolls Royce of phone prospecting. They're like $25 an hour. I mean, it's Americans making the call, but they're absolutely incredible. Fran, one of mine, made me $685,000 last year, just her. Okay, and so that's just a small portion of the cash. Depending on what market you're in, I would look at pay-per-click. Pay-per-click is a great way to get some really good leads, but you have to see what the cost is for that. And then I would have a team. And certainly, listen, I wouldn't, if I had $400K cash and no experience, I wouldn't do anything with that $400K. I would get a list of properties and I'd start calling them, and I would start getting proof of concept before I just start putting people into the deal. It's the same process, string time. You go do your first deal, get consistency, and then you start rounding out the team, and then you start building it out. All right, but I would hold on to that cash and I would put it away until I've got consistency in the business, and then I would invest in really great people, give them a base salary of $80,000 each plus commission, and you'll get like the best talent out there, like I have. And then pour into your marketing and just watch your marketing expense. You never want it to be less than a 4-to-1 return on your investment in marketing.
I'd also say with marketing, whether you're just starting or whether you're scaling, start with one channel, get that consistently profitable, and then move on to the next. Don't try to do it all at once.
100%.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I've seen it happen quite a bit, right? That people throw money at the building of the business, but if you don't have the trench work done, you don't know what you're hiring for. You don't know what you're keeping people accountable for, type of stuff, and you end up spending a lot of cash in places that you shouldn't have, and it's just not conducive, right? So it's tempting to cut it through money, but at least this industry has, you have to know what you're doing, and then build from that.
Jose, I have an appointment this Saturday for a seller finance deal. Come on, Jose, let's go. My question is, who pays closing costs when it's seller finance? It depends. It's negotiable. It is absolutely negotiable, but it does really affect the deal, especially if you're going to wholesale it to somebody else, which I highly suggest you do unless you've got a good operation running. I would the less that a buyer that you would sell that to, or yourself, depending on the situation, but the less that you have to cash to close that you have to come in, the better. The more buyers you're going to find for that deal. So if the seller's willing to pay their side of the title fees, then it's just less cost. But oftentimes it's the buyer. Oftentimes it's the buyer that does that. But the cash to close is really important because imagine this. Imagine you go in there. And by the way, here's some standards, guys. We talked about this on Super Saturday, which was phenomenal. Oh, my gosh. I don't know if we're going to do a replay of that or what we're going to do, but it was absolutely incredible. We went 3 hours. I was making calls. Raph was making calls. Luke Rotfold was making calls. We were going bananas. There was I don't know, 600 people, 700 people on there making calls. It was bananas. It was great. But we were talking about seller finance. We had Nick Camarada out of Tampa, who is who does our creative finance support calls in the Rhino tribe, and he talked about. Hold on, Hunter. I'll get to the question. Just move it for a second. What you want less than 5% down. 10% is the cap, the max on a seller finance. You want to push for 10 years minimum. 7 years would be the minimum. You want to push 10, 15, 20 as long as possible. And when there's really 3 parts to the seller finance, right? The amount down, the length of time before the balloon payment, and then the monthly payment. And so the amount of time you want to push as far as possible, and then the monthly payment you want at 25% of the estimated rental amount, 25 up to 50%. Okay, I'm just telling you, you want a smoking hot deal that you could sell to anybody, and you could take it yourself if you're in that position, but I wouldn't take it unless you're in a position and you're going full time and you've got a business going. We talked about the distraction at the beginning of the show. But you want to look at, just Google that address, look at what the rental estimate is, and you want to be 25% is like, woo, 25% of the rent, woo, up to 50%. Because then you have to take into account all the other costs and on top of that, including taxes, insurance, management fees, and then you got to keep some reserves for when things break. So those are the three things. If you guys write that down, rewatch this, I'm telling you, it's absolutely powerful, and it'll put you in a great position. If you're like, I don't know how to offer on a seller finance deal, I just told you. Ari, I failed wholesaling with the tribe in 2018, spent $15K with direct mail. Now I have 2 kids and a wife, little money to spare in marketing, and can only commit part-time, but I'm ready. I wonder if that must have been with Tom Kroll's training with direct mail, because, I mean, that was, listen, the Wholesaling Inc. was heavy direct mail in the 15, 16, 17, 18, and then, I came in 2017 to teach everybody how to talk to people and to be proactive. But that's really interesting. I'm really curious to know what market you're in, and I'm really happy that you're ready. Get back at it. Be super proactive, and you don't need a lot of money if you're proactive, right? So you don't need to spend a lot on marketing. Ralph. I'm using Mojo, but feel like I need a faster way to circulate more numbers to increase connectivity rate. Should I switch dialers or buy more numbers? Buy more numbers. Are you registering your numbers? Are you whitelisting it with Mojo? Because we went on with fresh numbers this week, and we went bananas. I mean, we were having a high contact rate.
Yeah, the connection rate was pretty high.
It was
higher than last time I used it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So make sure that you're white labeling it with the Mojo numbers, and we get at least 3 caller ID numbers and switch it up every hour. But I don't think it's a dialer thing. Joe, what are the pros and cons of getting a license in California to buy and sell and invest in wholesale? Also, what are 3 action steps to kill it in order to replace my current job as a farm tech? Awesome. Joe, let's get to work. Pros and cons in California. I think having a license is smart. I think that it allows you to have easier conversations with real estate agents. You don't need it. But I think that it's probably smart to have in the long term, because it opens you up to be able to refer. Like, we make an extra $100,000 a year referring, listing people that listing a property is the best, bridge from going from Hell Island to Heaven Island. So we have great agents. They list it. We get a 30% referral fee, and we do nothing but pass over a phone number. So there's financial benefits to it for sure. 3 action items in order to replace your current job is talk to people. That's your only job. Joe, lead generation. Quality conversations with distressed property owners. Pull a list of distressed properties. Drive for dollars everywhere. Find the ugliest properties. Pull distress lists. We've got a ton of videos on this channel. And that's really it. I mean, there's no magic to this. There's no secret sauce to this. At some point, you have to have quality conversation with a distressed property owner. And Matt, will you put up the 3 steps to being a real estate entrepreneur, please?
Hey, Brent, I would throw in, because I've heard you say this before, and I like this, where unless you're in a location that requires you to get licensed to wholesale, which there's not a lot of them, right?
Yeah, not yet.
Your answer is get licensed, but don't let it hold you back from talking to people, having those quality conversations.
It's just another education hurdle that you're going through.
Creative avoidance.
Do it, but don't let it hold you back.
It's creative avoidance.
Yeah.
The lead generation conversation.
Yep.
Okay.
So guys, remember, it comes down to 3 parts of the business: lead generation, conversion, and exit strategy. You figure out these 9 steps under these 3 categories, and you've got a business. You've got a business that can run without you. And you got to figure out, what are you going to do for lead generation? Are you going to get referrals? Are you going to talk to a lot of agents and have them refer you business? You have to wait for it. You got to build up a reputation. They have to trust you. You can certainly buy conversations by marketing, or you can go out and earn it by door knocking or picking up the phone. I think the phone is the most effective way. Conversion, you got to pre-qualify every single property owner. You got to follow up with them, and you got to have a killer offer presentation. And then your exit strategy is wholesale, buy and sell, and buy and hold. If it's your first 12 months in the business, you should do nothing but wholesale. Is that
Absolutely
controversial?
agree.
I don't know. I think I just think it's the way that people go a lot faster. What do you mean by registering phone numbers and whitelisting them? Vince, talk to Mojo. I don't know what it means. I literally have no idea what it means. That's what they say. So I think it's like you have to make sure that you have a LLC and you have to put your name in as the caller ID. That's all I know about it. Chris, there he is. What do I do with warm leads? Here's a rhino charging every day. What do I do with warm leads that I get from my caller that are asking for retail? The only way we are buying right now is cash. Well, you can give them retail, but it will have to be in payments. And also, are they asking for retail because they're in good condition? If they're in good condition and can get a conventional loan on them, refer them to an agent. Yeah. If you don't have a license, you can't get paid, but could that agent pay for your marketing? Could that agent pay for your skip tracing? Could that agent pay for your dialer? Could that agent pay for all of your business costs?
Or could that agent refer you back?
Oh, you're getting nasty.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, look at you.
We're not messing around today.
Yeah, yeah. I'm telling you that's right, Chris. So, yeah. I mean, it depends. Now, listen. If they're in rough shape and they're not going to get retail value, that's called fantasy land. We talk about it here all the time. Fantasy land. These are unmotivated property owners. You have to ask the all-important question. If you can't get that price, what's your plan with the property? It's an open-ended question. And you know what most of them say? Well, I'll just wait until I get my price. Yeah, I might fix it up. I might re-rent it. I might just wait until the market comes back up again. What are you going to do? Convince them? Convincing a property owner to sell a property is not the crown that you're going to wear on your head. It's not. So stop trying. I'm not talking to you, Chris. I'm just talking to everybody. You can't convince anybody to sell. They have to have made the decision that they're going to sign a deed over to somebody else. That's number one. Have they made the decision they're going to sell? I'd like to offer you, I'd like to see if you consider an offer on your property. I've never thought about that. Yeah. Wow. What does that mean? Like, that doesn't happen. Like, when you call somebody, you're going to be shocked when they're like, yeah, how did you know we were selling? How did you know we were thinking about it? We're going to sell it here soon. We're looking to sell it here in the next whatever. Those are the conversations you have. Are you going to have those 10 out of 10 times? No. You're going to have those 2 out of 10 times. You'll get 20 people that are thinking about selling their properties if you're going after really distressed lists, and one of those people will do business with you. After talking to 199 people do not want your offer, but one does. Chantel. By the way, guys, if you're getting value out of that, hit that subscribe button. If you are not subscribed, oh my goodness gracious, it is just a leg up. I'm just telling you, we're going to give you the most accurate, the most up-to-date tools, strategies, support that you need here. Make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're interested in joining the most proactive group to get your first deal, to get consistency in your business, to grow a 7-figure business that works without you, I highly encourage you to do your research and go to ttpcall.com and check out what we're all about. Maybe it's the right fit for us. All right. Chantel. There are a few really, really ugly houses on a main road that I pass by every day, but they have a realtor sign up. Do I still call the realtor, or should I look off-market, non-market? I don't mind either ways. The end of that, whoever's listening to this on the podcast, or should I look for off-market, non-realtor deals only? I like both, but if it's on the market, you have to go at 50% of list price. Even if it's a deal, 50%. If it's not selling and it's on the market, every buyer in the market is telling them, I don't want to pay that price. So offer them 50% of what it's listed for And oftentimes, if a property's sitting on the market with a real estate agent, they're not really motivated to sell. They're trying to speculate. They're trying to see if a buyer will come in and give them their price, and they're testing the market. Sellers that are testing the market are a waste of time. Everything comes down to price. Every property will sell at the right price. So just make sure that you're going after and hitting them at 50%. I love it. We do deals on the market all the time, but we hit them way lower than the list price.
You know what? One really important thing to look at also when you're looking at properties that might be listed with an agent is look at days on market. Days on market are going to tell you a lot, right? They can be testing the waters when it comes to the seller and the strategy and the price points. But usually, also what happens is like the longer the days on market, the more stress levels that start stacking on the seller side. Especially if you have, like I'm reading that you have really ugly houses, right? So that can be one of the main factors there. And if the days on market are extended, they may be more open to talking about a 50% offer on that thing.
That's right.
So don't leave it out of the picture just because that 50% may feel low. You never know. You never know. You just got to have that, that conversation. Yeah.
Jamil Damji, who is the authority on working with real estate agents to get deals, says you have to talk to 300 to get one deal. On market, off market, whatever. So you could talk off market, you could talk on market. I don't care. It's all talking to people. It's all the same thing that I've been talking about since 2017. Have quality conversations with people that own distressed properties or represent people that own distressed properties. Alex, Brent, calling driving for dollar list we got 1 year ago. Ugly houses, big checks. What list in your business worked really well, especially in the AZ market? Look at that. We're standing right there with these guys. All right. I love the picture. These high equity absentee owners holding off on selling. Yeah. I mean, listen, you're going to have to play around with it. You're going to have to play around with, we really go hard after probates because here in Arizona and around the country, 75% of them sell that property, liquidate that property in the first 90 days of ownership. So we really go we really go hard at the probates. And we've started recently actually going down and getting the information from the county and testing that versus what we get from probatesdaily.com. And it's a lot more work. So, I mean, if you have a congested schedule, just go to probatesdaily.com. They give you a discount if you use TTP, Talk to People. They love us. So you can get your probates there. We have been testing out Audantic. I mean, Audantic is hit or miss sometimes. They're a big data scientist company out of Seattle. It's like $35,000 a year for their list, but they do a lot of science wizardry to determine who's the most likely to sell at a discount. And some years it's bananas, and some years it's about average. So, but we've been using that list for years just because you never know. It comes out, the new list comes out to us every 90 days. So we go after those hard. And they only sell, you got to make sure that the territory's open.
One of my favorite ones that most people forget about is the 60-day lates.
Love it. Talk to me about it.
60-day lates list. I talk about that one all the time, but it's before, so people are behind 2 months on their payment, right? It's not a foreclosure list. They haven't gotten served, so everybody and their mom doesn't have that, that list yet. When you somebody hits foreclosure, I mean, you have people at the door within an hour, within 2 hours. I mean, there's systems out there that the thing will pop up, so people drive over real quick.
Yep.
But when you're hitting a 60-day lates list, it's people who are they're well on their way, right? But they're not quite there yet.
60-day late on what?
Their mortgage. Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, they're 60-day
Where do you
late
get that list?
on their mortgage. You can reach out to a good title company. They'll give you certain filters. I know Fidelity Title carries that, and they're all over the nation. So we get ours from them, and it actually gets dropped into our inbox, and like every time it lands in the inbox, we're hitting.
So then, what do you do,
later.
Raph? Do you call them? Do you text them? What do you do?
Yeah, so we take
Mail
the
'em?
list, we skip trace the list.
Yep.
Yeah, skip trace the list, and then we just hit them over the phone.
Call them.
Yeah, we call them.
You've got VAs or what?
Yeah.
How many?
Yeah, I have 5 cold callers and a lead manager. When that list comes in, I give it directly to my lead manager. She's the one that handles that.
Yep.
Yeah. So the process is simple, right? I mean, you get the list, get it in your inbox. They send it to you with some phone numbers. A lot of times, they'll give you phone numbers included with the spreadsheet. We just ignore those because the quality tends to be super low. But now you have the records. You have the property address. So you take that, you skip trace it, and then you drop it into a power dialer and go to town on it.
Dude, you're on fire today. You are heating up.
It's
I can't
gotta
believe
be-
you're wearing a jacket because you are absolutely just killing it today.
It's
I
gotta
love
be
it.
the cool hat.
It must be tough standing next to him, Mike. I'm telling you, you're a brave man, super brave. Gordon, when pulling PropStream lists, any recommendations on how many weeks to include in my list? Is going back more than 3 weeks not worth it? It depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about like a pre-foreclosure or the do they do probate lists? I bet it's not very good if they do. I don't pull it from there. It depends on which list you're pulling. But just remember, I mean, if you're pulling pre-foreclosures, that's a 90-day window to 6 months window. So I don't care how far back you pull it. Because a lot of those, 80 to 90% do loan modifications. Yeah. So then you call them when they're not in pre-foreclosure anymore, because the likelihood that they get back in pre-foreclosure, you don't know. You know what I mean? And so obviously they had some financial distress in the past. They figured out how to do a loan modification. Maybe that solves the issue, but maybe it doesn't. So test it, Gordon. I mean, I pull the list and go. Like, give me a name, address, and phone number, and I'll make $1 million a year. Doesn't matter. I mean, as long as they're distressed, as long as they're ugly properties, it's just conversations. So test it out. Good question, though. Cameron, if you had to restart today, what is the number one thing you learned that you wish you would have known when starting? I mean, honestly, number one is just focus on lead generation. That's all you got to focus on. I mean, Cameron, I believe you're now a Rhino, which is fantastic. So the only thing you have to worry about and think about is lead generation. So hunt for the opportunities. When you have opportunities, you can find people in your marketplace. You can find people in investment groups. You can find people in the Rhino tribe that will help you get it through the finish line. But the whole thing of I need to know everything about everything is silly. Just massive imperfect action. Progress, not perfection. Just charge. That's it. I mean, that's all. I mean, I have had people that like found out about wholesaling and in the same day went out door knocking and found a deal. Like, they're just like, wait, so what do I have to do? You have to talk to people that own ugly properties. Okay. Hey, yeah, I talked to this guy that owns a property. Can you tell me if it's a deal? What? You were just in my office. Like, what did you do? Oh, I went door knocking around your office. Wait, what? Hell yeah. So talking to people, it all comes down to that. It all comes down to having quality conversations. And then number two is just make sure that you pre-qualify them. Make sure that you pre-qualify. I mean, it's the order that we just went in: lead generation, conversion, and then exit strategy. And the top of the show, Cameron, if I would have known if Mike and I have been doing this since 2004. Okay, if we would have known what wholesaling was back in the day, instead of trying to flip everything and do fix and flips and buy rentals, I lost 5 rentals to foreclosure. Mm-hmm. Okay, stupid. We did 100 flips. I mean, we've probably done 100 flips, and it was like we were never in control of it because we were buying everything at foreclosure auctions or referrals from agents on deals. And then when that dried up, we weren't proactive. We were always reactive with the deals that we were getting based on what was coming at us from foreclosure auctions and from agents. And so we went out and flipped a bunch until all of a sudden that dried up, and we're like, oh, geez, what do we do now? Mm-hmm. And that was a whole kick to the to the gut, mm-hmm. to put it nicely. So if I would have known that when you get a purchase agreement signed between you and a property owner, that became an asset, and I could sell that asset, that's life changing. That's game. I mean, I would have just focused on that. So I would focus 100% on building your machine, building a wholesaling business that runs without you 7 figures, and then going out and trying other techniques to build up your rental portfolio. Because listen, at the end of the day, let's be honest. It's not, oh, I own all these houses. No, it's you want a lifestyle. You want control. You want control over the time you have left on this planet. Okay? So if you get that control from having an incredible business that finds incredible deals, even though you're not fixing and flipping it, even though you're not doing Airbnbs, even though you're not doing all these, big rental portfolios, it's all cash flow. It's coming at you. And you can build a real asset there. You can build a real company. I mean, this has been happening forever. I just listened to the Sean Terry YouTube video. He's incredible. I love Sean. He is absolutely incredible. He got his first training on wholesaling was a guy in Texas that recorded it in 1991, and he got that in 2003. And by the way, and it was a door knocking course. And he told him exactly what to do. Yeah. And the principles are still the same now. You can build an incredible, long-lasting business, finding discounted properties and then buying assets. So focus would probably be the number one if I had to go down to it.
So that'd be focus on having the quality conversations with the distressed property owners.
I gave like 4 answers to that question.
That's lead gen, and that's lead gen and lead follow up.
Yeah,
right.
That's where it starts. If I had to start all over. Zach, 17 deals closed last year. Best advice to double that number in 23. Spend double in marketing. Thanks, Brent.
Bam!
So it just depends on what your team looks like. But if it's all you, Zach, I would highly suggest that you move on to making sure that you've got lead generation, people hunting for opportunities. Get some cold callers. Get some good talent. And some texters, get that going. And then I would highly suggest you get a junior acquisition manager that goes through all the leads and plates them up for you to go on appointments that are pretty much laydowns.
Yeah.
Junior acquisition. And all they do all day is they're in the office. Listen, when you grow this business, you need somebody that's in the office all day. And then if you're in the market that you're doing business, you need somebody that's out in the streets all day. That's the perfect situation. So I've got Chad, who does 50 to 70 follow-up calls every single day, and then I have Ryan that goes on appointments all day. Congratulations, Zach. That's bananas. George, I'm solo right now, getting leads after qualifying. I go out to meet and see the property. Then my calling gets out to the side. Yeah, how do I stay consistent with phone prospecting? George, I love it. Matt? I'm going to have to dig deep for the perfect full-time schedule. Pull that up. Here it is, George. Listen, the morning is for hunting. The afternoon is for gathering. The morning is for finding business. The afternoon is for doing business. You need to set aside sacred time. What you're doing is you're a train and you're throwing coal into the engine, old school, you're filling it up, and then you're like, oh, well, I got to stop this train to go and go on this appointment. I'm not going to put any fuel into this thing. Then it slows down. It slows down. So you're like this. Like that's why you get those inconsistencies in your business. Crushing it with the sound effects today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who needs a soundboard?
Who needs a soundboard when you got this kind of talent?
Man of many talents.
Right here, George. Perfect schedule. 8:30 to 9, practice and role play. Warm it up. Don't go into this thing cold. 9 to noon, lead generation. Noon to 12:15 is a delicious lunch. You do not need 90 minutes for lunch. Stop it. You don't need to go and grab a piece of chicken, pound it out, put some crumbs on it, get it all, put the Parmesan on there, make noodles, make some sort of chicken Parmesan lunch. Okay, quick lunch. 12:15 to 1 o'clock lead follow up. 1 to 5. You're on appointments. You're building your cash buyer database or negotiating with your cash buyers, or you're driving for dollars. And it's just time blocking. And listen, George, if you stick to that, it's not realistic. I'm not going to be like, George, what I did was I stuck to that schedule 100% of the time. I was perfect. No. But if you stick to that about 70% of the time, you're going to be really, really, really consistent.
Well, then you start building the habit too. Like it almost becomes second nature after a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even half the time.
Don't-
Holy moly.
Yeah.
What do you think is the best list to pull from PropStream, from Carly? Lot of videos on this, Carly. So make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure everybody is subscribed. If you're watching this, make sure that you are subscribed. Hit that notification bell so you know when we're going live. We usually go every Wednesday, but sometimes I'm speaking at things and traveling or whatever else. And so make sure you hit that so that you can be notified to not miss this. And we put out incredible interviews with people that are doing incredible deals around the country. Not people that are, millions. Some of those. But sometimes it's people's first deals. Sometimes it's, people that are moving to that second point of consistency that just fired their boss and what that looks like. So you get like an insider view of people really doing this every single week from us. And so make sure that you're subscribed and make sure that you hit the bell. Carly, the best, I would just start out with a tired landlord list. And you can either do multifamily with that or single family and play around with that. That's people that have owned their absentee owners, right? Non-owner occupied. Basically, they're landlords. They've owned it for at least, I like 10 years to start. The property was built before 1993. It is not currently listed on the market. I like properties that are under 2,000 square feet, and then you rock and roll. And so, that's where I would start, Carly. But there's a ton of videos on here, a bunch of little niche lists as well. So. That's it, guys. That's it for us today. This show is going to be an hour from here on out. We like it quick. We like it snappy. We like to get in and out and then get back to work. So let's bring everybody up.
Boom.
Everybody up. We love you guys so much. Thank you for joining us. Absolutely incredible live today. On behalf of Raphael and Mike and Matt and Daniel and Alejandra, who's too cool to show up because she's super busy today. We love you guys. Remember, keep your house clean. Your actual house and your brain, right? Keep it clean. Very positive. Don't let that nasty stuff come into your house or your brain. All right? Protect your health and increase your value to the world, and you'll live a fantastic life. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. And if you're ready, join the most proactive group in real estate. Go to ttpcall.com. Check us out. Love you guys. See you next week.